Hi there, this is Tracy with Totally Trace. I am so glad that you are here to watch my free online class. I'm going to give just a minute for everybody to get on and then we'll get started. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit here too. All right, well, welcome to my free online class. My goal is to do this the first Wednesday of every month, so I hope you can mark that on your calendar and join me. So let me tell you, excuse me, how that's gonna work is my goal is to think of a design that is easy for you to replicate with whatever supplies you have at home. And then you will just grab those supplies and you'll follow along with me. So that is the goal today. You can see I have very limited supplies out right now. So to do this, you're gonna need a sheet of scrapbook paper that is double-sided. You'll need coordinating cardstock, so I thought this matched this well. And then you'll need a card base. So I am using a white card base. So I'll give you a minute just to grab those things if you haven't already. And then of course your favorite stamp set, and if you have dies or a punch, we're going to use that too, but you'll see that's not necessary. All right, so on page 22 of the Stampin' Up! Catalog, they've included all these templates, and I'm actually going to use one of these templates today. So I'm just gonna show it up to the camera. I'm gonna use this one right here. And I've modified it a little bit, but I'm gonna make 4 cards this way. So you'll actually have 4 chances to replicate the card that I'm making with your own supplies. Hey Jane, glad you could make it. So I'll just repeat right now. I've got 1 piece of scrapbooking paper, a sheet of cardstock that coordinates it, and a card base. All right, and then I'm gonna put my measurements here so that you can see. And then I don't know how often you watch these kinds of things, but I tend to just take a picture of the screen so that I always have it. So there you go. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my card base. So all of my card bases are going to be white. Actually, I think I have a vanilla one coming up. So I'm gonna cut it at 5.5. So my long side is getting cut at 5.5. And then I'm just gonna rotate it to 4.25 and score there. All right, so that's my card base. Next, I'm gonna do my coordinating cardstock, and I'm gonna do 5.25 by 4. So again, I put it in long ways, and I'm just chopping 1/4 inch shorter for the length and the width. All right, so now that will layer just like that. So next, with my designer series paper, I'm gonna cut 2 of these, and they're gonna be 4 7/8 by 1 7/8. So I'm using the, let me find the name of it for you so I say the right thing, the Wildly Flowering paper. And I'm actually gonna be featuring this in my August online class, but look at how beautiful this paper is. So this is what I'm using. You can use whatever paper you want. And with my DSP, what I always do is I cut it in strips of 4 by 12. So you can see I've already cut off 1 and I've used it already. So I'm just gonna cut off another. I just find that I get more bang for my buck and I'm not overwhelmed with paper when I do it this way. All right, so I need 4 7/8. And if that 7/8 really bothers you, it's okay to do 5 inches. It's really not gonna make that much of a difference. So 4 7/8, and then I'm gonna do 1 7/8, and I'm gonna do that twice. So 1 7/8, 1 7/8. Okay, now the part that I didn't put on here, I'm gonna go back to my template. As you can see, I've made these 2 long strips. Now I'm gonna cut it. It's a really easy measurement to remember. I'm actually gonna just cut it at 1 7/8 again. I did that because I want that perfect square so I don't have to remember how to lay the paper. So I'm cutting off 1 7/8 of each one. Again, I'm making 4 of these cards, so if you feel like I'm going a little too fast for you, just do what you can, and on the next one you can catch back up with me. You don't have to make all 4. All right, so now I've got my 4 pieces, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them on here. And so then I'm going to flip this one. Oh, it looks like I've made a mistake already. So I'll cut these down. I wonder if I cut my paper wrong. Hang on. Okay, nope. Okay, everything looks right. I'm not sure what I did, but we're just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these down. These measurements I did just make up myself. That you'll notice in the catalog, the templates don't tell you what measurements. So I just kind of made it up to make it easier for myself. You do it however you would like. Again, I made this a square, so I don't have to worry about the way it lays. And this paper is also not necessarily directional, so that is always helpful. It doesn't matter how you lay it down. The flowers lay in all different patterns, so I can't ever put them upside down. So I'm just gonna overlap these since somehow I made them a little long. But again, you'll see it doesn't really matter. All right, there we go. And so you see I do have some space here in the middle. That's okay, because we're going to cover that up. So now I'm just going to glue this to my card base. All right, now if you've picked paper that you love, and you're like me, you're probably looking at it already like, ooh, I love that. But I'm going to add a sentiment to it. So again, in the catalog, they just added, that's what that is right there. That little piece there is a sentiment. You can do that. You can just cut out a rectangle, put a sentiment on it, and glue it down. But of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a die cut. So I'm using the Wildflower Designs, and this is a bundle. And it comes with these rectangles, which I absolutely love. I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to cut this out. Let me find a scrap sheet of paper here. Oop. So I'm going to use my die cutting machine. So it comes with all different sizes of this, but then a lot of them cut 2 at a time. And in just a second, I'll show you what I mean by that. So it's like you're getting double your money's worth. All right. So there we go. I see we have a few more people that have joined. Go ahead and say hello and where you're from so I can say hi to you. All right, so that is that one. But for example, if I use this piece, it cuts out 2. So I cut the Designer Series paper and I used it so you can see that this piece came out and this piece came out. So you could use it for layering. So for example, I could do that. I could keep it the same. I could flip it. So I love that die cut, this set. So that's what I'm using. And then most of my cards tonight, I'm going to be just using a sentiment. But on this one, I'm actually going to be using a stamp and a sentiment. So I've got that out. Whoops, and my hair's on the table. All right, so I'm using pecan pie. And I'm going to ink that up, and I'm actually going to stamp off. So let me find a scrap to do that on. I don't have my background ready. I will just stamp it on here, and then I'm going to stamp it right in the middle here. So I didn't want my flower to be all that dark. So I stamped off a little bit, so there we go. And now I'm going to stamp my thank you. But for this one, I am not going to stamp off. And it's okay if they overlay. So there we go. And then I'm just going to add that right there. All right, so there is our first card. Hopefully you are crafting along and trying it with me, because again, this is a card that you can use with any sentiment, any paper. You don't need the exact supplies that I'm using. All right, so I'm gonna clean up this card and get ready for my next card. So again, if you're not already crafting along with me, start now. All right. And then I'll just show you a couple other cards that I've made with the same set. So there is this one, and this will be featured in an August class. And then I've got this one too, and so this paper is just so pretty. You don't really have to do much, but look, this slides off, and see that die cut that I talked about? So this just slides off and then opens. Again, this will be in an upcoming class in August. So much fun. Such pretty paper on those. Here's one where I actually measured the paper correctly. But again, it didn't make that much of a difference. Nobody would know that I made that mistake. All right, so the next card is going to feature the Unbounded paper. Let's see, the exact name is Unbounded Beauty. If you follow me, you've seen I've used this paper a ton. So same thing. I'm gonna start with my card base 5.5 by 8.5, and you saw me cut that earlier. So now I'm just gonna store it. At the 4 1/4 mark. So this is my card base. And then I need some coordinating cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4. So I am going to use Pretty in Pink. So 5 1/4 by 4. All right. And this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. So last time I used one sheet of paper and I just flipped it. This time I'm going to do 2 sheets of paper. So just because I like how these two go together. Oh, actually, I like how those two go together. All right, well, we'll cut it and we'll see what how we like it at the ends. So this length is already 4, but I need 4 7/8 by 1 7/8. So I'm going to cut my 4 7/8 first. So 4 7/8, and then I'm going to do 1 7/8. Okay, and I'm going to put my extras away, and then on this one I'm doing 4 7/8 by 1 7/8. And look at these extras I have to make even another one. All right, now I'm going to do 1 7/8 for each piece. Again, those sizes aren't necessarily, like that's not where you have to split it. I just do that for my own sanity, so that I don't have to try and figure out where the paper lies. I've got that perfect square so that that small piece, it doesn't matter. All right, and then same thing, I'm just gonna lay it down. So let's see. This time, actually, I'm wondering if I want to show all 4 pieces. Actually, I think I like that bold color. Yeah, I think I like that better. So the bigger pieces I want to be more bold, and then the smaller ones can be more subtle. All right, so I'm going to do that, and same thing, I'm now going to glue that down. I might be running out of glue before this class is over. All right, last piece. Come on, glue, you can make it. Okay, I'm gonna glue that down. And then I would normally use glue, but I'm gonna leave those upside down a little bit just so that I can not waste so much time here. Okay, and I'm gonna glue that to my base. Now, for this one, I'm using Unbounded Love stamp set and the coordinating dies. So let's see. I think I'm going to use that one. So I'll run that through. And again, this entire suite, there's flowers that go with it. There's a flower stamp set, and I use it all. And in just a second, I'll show you some of the other cards you can make with this. All right. Okay, so see how I made a little bit of a big gap there that I don't necessarily like, so I'm thinking that that might go down there, because again, in the catalog, it shows it up here. Guys, there's no rules. Play around with where you think it will go. Okay, so let's see what will fit there. You can tell which ones I use a lot. My Heart Goes Out to You. Best of Luck would fit there. With Sympathy. I kind of like how My Heart Goes Out to You. It fills up that whole thing. Happy Birthday. Or what's great about this one is that you can mix and match different messages. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but there's all these little ones. Never Give Up, Little One, To You and Yours, You're a True Blessing. So like this could be a baby card, Little One, to You're a True Blessing. I think I'm gonna use My Heart Goes Out to You. And I'm going to stamp it with the Pretty in Pink, one of our new in colors. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing out there? I see Carol made it. Thought you were supposed to be cooking dinner. Do I have anybody attempting a card along with me, or is everybody just watching? All right, card number 2 done. So again, super easy cards, any paper works. I made this card earlier, so you can see I used the same die cut, but I just turned it. There's no rules, which is what I love about this layout. Okay, and in fact, I'm going to use the same set for my 3rd card. So same thing, I'm going to clean up a little bit. Okay, good, Carol. I didn't want John to be mad at you that he's not getting dinner, or that you're spending all your time with me instead of with him. All right, so I'm just gonna clean these off really quickly. All right, so if you are going to try and make these cards, again, just take a screenshot of that so you have these measurements. If you don't use those measurements, you just need to be in that ballpark. It doesn't have to be exact. All right, so let's see. All right, for this next one, I'm using Unbounded Beauty again. I've already cut it. So I went back to, I cut 1 piece of paper using these measurements. And then this time I'm using Summer Splash is what this is. This is one of the new in colors. Let's see if my glue has been upside down long enough. So again, the more bold print is what I tend to have the bigger piece be. And then the more neutral is what the smaller piece is. And I've got mine smaller pieces cut in a square, so I don't have to worry about which way to lay it down. Out of this pack of paper, this like sheet of paper is by far my favorite, and then I have a second favorite, and then the rest is all beautiful. But I don't know, there's something about this. These colors together I just love. Okay, and then I'm gonna glue that to my card base. Okay, so it looks like that. But this time, I'm going to turn mine this way. Okay, so instead the card will be opening up that way. All right, so these are all the labels that come with this set. And a lot of them layer within each other and they make some interesting cuts. So I'm using this one, and what I did was I cut it once on white cardstock, and then I cut it again on the Summer Splash, and so I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the white. When it cuts out, it looks like this. And then I cut it again in the Summer Splash, so it looks like that. Now this one I didn't cut out all the middle pieces, or I haven't punched them out yet because I'm actually not going to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this my punch so that it looks just like that. So just a neat little one, and I think, let's see, do I like it best like that? Or do I want it like, no, that looks upside down. How about, oh, I want it like that. Okay. So let's get another stamp out. So this time I'm going to do May All Your Wishes Come True. Carol, this is my 3rd one, so I've got 1 more to go, and I'm using the same template on all of them. So I'm using those measurements, but I'm just showing how to vary it a little bit. And like I'm doing nothing crazy fancy. So this is something that would be so easy for anybody to do. Again, you could just put a rectangle right here. I haven't added any ribbon. I haven't added any gems. So of course you could also make it even more fancy if you chose to, but I think they look great even without it. Okay, so this one I'm not popping up. I'm just gonna set it there. And then these fun thin ones where you just have to put the glue, squeeze it lightly, and then if too much comes out, just kind of spread it around. I'm not sure any's coming out right now. Oh, and there went too much, so I'll just spread it around. Go. I think I need one just down in this corner. And if you, on this Tombow glue, like everything will be stuck down. So if you don't get every part, it really is fine. It doesn't go anywhere. Okay, and then I'm just gonna try and do my puzzle. Oh, I did a pretty good job the first time. All right, so card number 3, following that same template. And so, like I said, that whole, it's unbounded love, unbounded beauty, something along those lines, sweets. And I just love it. So I'll show you some of the other cards I've made with it. So look, here's that same paper. I told you that's my absolute favorite paper. This is the paper of the last card that I made. So you can see it's the same paper there. And then another one of that. Here's one where I did a water technique, a fun fold. Oh, I told you I have a second favorite. This is my second favorite one. Okay, another fun fold using that paper. Oh, and look, same paper. Every time, I don't know why, I just love that one. Oh, and then my second favorite. So fun fold again. And then here is another fun fold using this paper. So look, totally different, but it comes in the same pack, but it's all oranges, or peach pie, I guess. And then I think this is the berry burst I use with it. So it's a fun fold. This is gonna be a card in my fun fold August class. We'll be learning how to make that one. All right, we're gonna move on to card number 4. Okay, so it is July, so of course, it's Christmas in July, and you probably know that I have some classes coming up in July that we're making Christmas cards. So we're gonna make a Christmas card now, and we're gonna use this exact same template. But this time I'm using Seasons of Green and Gold paper. So this paper just came on online exclusives and Stampin' Up! Today. And so you can check this out, but it's all these different greens and golds, and the backs are just as pretty. Like you can see, I'm saving every scrap of this. Look, I've got tiny little scraps where I've die cut things out. So I am featuring a class with these. I expect this to probably sell out within a week. I'm hoping it won't, because once it sells out, I can't let anybody else take the class. All right, this one I am gonna use a vanilla base card just because the paper is vanilla. And then I've got Mossy Meadow as my coordinating cardstock. And then on this one, I've cut, look at this paper. It's just so beautiful. So I did the same thing. I cut 4 7/8 by 1 7/8, 2 strips. So you can see here's one of the strips. Here's the other. And I'm gonna lay it on my card. So the back side is that Mossy Meadow and olive green. So of course, I want the gold to show more. So my bigger pieces this time are gonna be the golds. And then I'll use the green as the small squares. So I'm gonna glue those down. when, as a demonstrator, we get to see product a month before everybody else. So when I saw this, I was like, yep, I'm definitely buying that one. There's some Halloween things, some fall things in the online exclusives. I did buy a fall set, but this was my favorite of what I saw. And sometimes you just have to budget. All right. All right, hopefully you are trying to make these, or will try and make them later, because that is my goal, is that this is a class where you can use your own supplies. If you're looking and you love the supplies I am using, then I will send you everything I use to make these cards for free if you place a $35 order in my online class. So you would get the card base, the card stock, the 4 pieces of paper of everything I use, the die cut. The only thing I can't send you is the inked image. So like right now I am using this die cut. Let me show it to you. So I'm using Greetings of the Season. This is another item that is in the online exclusives right now. Has all these great sayings for Christmas, holiday, New Year. And then if you buy the bundle, it comes with all of these coordinating tags. So you can see that I used this one to cut that out. So I would send you that with your free card kit too. The only thing I can't send you is the stamp that I'm going to put on there. So you would have to have your own greetings. All right, so I'm going to use Merry Christmas. And then just to give you a little hint of how I did it, because there are so many different sayings, is I actually laid my die cut upside down and I put the different stamps on here. So here, I'll do it for you real quick. I tried several because I wanted to see what would fit, but I thought, all right, where would this go if I was going to stamp it on here? So I did it to think about where I'd want it, and then I just push down so I know it'll fit. And you can see I did it on the back because it did leave a little bit of a mark there, but that's okay because I'm using the other side. All right, I'm gonna stamp that in Mossy Meadow. And my Mossy Meadow has seen lots of love. I think it's almost time for me to get a re-inker, so I'm just gonna stamp a little bit of everywhere because I'm getting like 2 tones sometimes. Okay. All right, then I'm gonna stamp that. There we go. Yeah, another thing I like about this set is you see there's the print and the cursive, and it has it for all of them. So like Happy Holidays, but then you also have Happy Holidays. Merry Christmas, you've got it up there. So that was another thing I liked about that. All right, now we're gonna get a little fancy with this one. I'm just gonna add some ribbon. So I'm gonna use the Vanilla Satin. This is also part of the online exclusive, and I will give, if you place that $35 order, I will give you enough of it so that you can make this card. Just because it does make a die, so we need to do that. All right, and then I've got some gold thread. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tie this gold thread. I'm hoping I'm on camera here for you guys to be able to see this. Come on down. Let's try that again. There we go, that's what I want. And then we're gonna double knot this, if it will cooperate. Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna cut off the excess there. Now I am finding with this ribbon that my tiny scissors aren't long enough to cut it, and I do not have good fabric scissors. That is on my wish list. Okay, and so now I'm just going to pop that up. See, I just love how this vanilla and this cream goes so nicely with it. All right, there we go. There is card number 4. And then I'll show you another one that I made with the same set. This one could be a happy holidays or even like a wedding. It doesn't need to say Merry Christmas since I only stuck with the green. So I did make one that had the reds too. So I used cherry cobbler, and I used this cursive seasoned greetings with the print to you and yours. And I used the tag, but did that same little embellishment with the ribbon. All right, let me show you some other things just in case you haven't seen them. So some other cards that I've made with this paper. These are all coming up in my Christmas in July class. So I think I'll have that linked for you. So this paper is just beautiful, and you can see I'm using the vanilla and the gold each time because it just coordinates so well. All right, so there you have it. We have made 4 cards using that same template in the catalog. So page 22, I just used that one and made 4 completely different cards. And my goal was that you would be able to make these on your own, but if you're like, oh, I really like her cards, then you can purchase $35 worth of product, and I will send you everything you need except for the stamped images so that you can make them. I'm trying to find all 4. I kind of got them lost. There's one. And there's the other one. All right, so you'll get all the supplies for that. Yeah, Jane, that Christmas paper is gorgeous. And when you see it, the green and the gold, it really doesn't have to be Christmas. I mean, there are some that are definitely meant for Christmas, but I see wedding in it as well. All right, oh, that one's upside down. Okay, so next week on my Facebook Live, it'll be July 10th. So that is a craft along with me. Hopefully you have already purchased your kit so that you can make the same cards that I'm making. If you ordered it online, I sent it out on Monday for you, so you'll get it plenty of time. And if you are doing a porch pickup, then I think I've arranged some sort of pickup with everybody. Hopefully I will see you next week for that. If you have not already purchased your kit, join us anyway so you can see the cards we're making. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you.